James Gatz, that was really his name. His parents were broke farm people, and at 17, James Gatz decided to invent his new name, J. Gatsby. He worked as a waiter in a restaurant at his college in Minnesota for 2 weeks before quitting and going to San Diego to work at the fishing docks. Jay notices a yacht, named Tuolumne, about to crash into the dock, and warns the man who will soon hire him, Dan Cody. Cody was a famous music producer that got him millions and got him many gold-digging women, like Ella Kay, who would inherit his fortune. Cody bought Jay rich yacht clothes as they were going to travel to the Bahamas. Excessive drinking led to violence from Cody and also led to Jay's decision to leave alcohol alone. Cody's death led to Ella Kay inheriting all of his money, and Jay not receiving $25,000. His death encouraged Gatsby to become a successful and wealthy man.
I went to Gatsby's house after hanging out with Jordan for a few weeks. To my surprise, Tom came inside for a drink with a party of 3 who came on hoverboards.
I believe we've met somewhere before. Mr. Buchanan?
Yes, so we did. I remember very well.
About 2 weeks ago.
That's right, you were with Nick here.
Yeah, I know your wife.
That's so.
I live next door.
Tom shakes the guest's hands and walks away as the 2 guests meet Gatsby and invite him to dinner. But he refuses.
No, no thank you. Around, you might find people you've heard about.
I don't know, Soul here.
Gatsby and Daisy danced, and then walked to my house under my watch. I watched as the guests talked about drunk mishaps.
I sat at a particularly tipsy table with a girl trying to lay on my shoulder.
Who's this Gatsby anyhow? Some big bootlegger?
Where did you hear that?
I assume since all these newly rich people are just big bootleggers, you know?
Not Gatsby.
Well, at least the people here are more interesting than the ones we know.
You didn't look so interested.
I was. A lot of the people who came hadn't been invited. They just simply forced their way in, and he's too polite to object.
I'd like to know who he is and what he does.
I can tell you, he owns a lot of drugstores.
The limousine shows up to the steps and everyone says their goodbyes. Nick goes back to the garden to wait for Gatsby. She didn't have a good time. I feel distant. It's hard to make her understand.
You mean the dance?
The dance? The dance is wonderful.
He believed that if he could return to a starting place, like before, away from his current confusion, he would recover something that had gone away into loving Daisy. Gatsby's heart beat fast as Daisy's face came up to his own. He waited, listened for a moment longer again like a tuning fork that had been struck upon a star. Then he kissed her. At lips touched, she blossomed for him like a flower, and the incarnation was complete.
No, I'm Nick.
And I am
that's
Nick.
what we
Okay,
said.
I was like, stop messing me up, Marco. God.
Who is this Gatsby anyhow?
Right here. Just look. Don't walk. Just stay there.
So confused.
And then point, and then I'll come over to you.
Y'all.
And shake your hand.
Hold on. Sorry, I was serious before, but it's not helping.
Can you stop with that?
Oh yes. So
I know your wife.
I was like, yeah. That's right. You were with Nick here.
Should we actually be dancing? I'm gonna be like a white dad. Honestly.
Look at Moody's
Are
heart.
you going?
You didn't look so interested.
I was. Action.
Already started.